just you and the girls?
You know, he was, in those days, you stayed 9 months in the hospital with a broken hip.
Okay.
He didn't stay quite that long. But anyway, that's what he was supposed to.
Okay. And then so he healed up, and
Yeah.
okay, how did things work out at the farm then? Was that kind of difficult then, going back to the farm?
Well, I was just staying with my dad down there.
Mm-hmm.
Neoma was living there with him, Neoma and Howard, and I just stayed there with him, and with Ellen and I did. And then Frankie was born in Sheldon, which is just down the line, you know what that is.
Okay. Now, then he got out of the hospital and you met back up again where?
To Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls?
Yeah.
Okay. And was he still doing road work then?
Yeah. Then the next spring, then he went back to doing road work again.
Okay.
Healed up enough.
Made a pretty good recovery then? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. Recovered fine. For having I don't think it was a complicated break. I think it was just, but they really kept you a long time in those days.
Okay. So did you stay in Sioux Falls then?
Yeah, we stayed there for a while. I can't remember when we went.
Did you teach at all at any of these points? Or?
No.
Okay. Did you work outside the home at all, or
No.
just, okay. So then.
I did go back to college though. I went back to summer school.
You did? For what?
One summer. Well, during the war years, they needed teachers, and I thought maybe I would
Okay,
teach.
now war,
But I never
which,
did.
World War
Yeah.
World War II? Okay. What do you remember about World War II? Remember
Oh, it's been so long ago.
where were you at when
We
Pearl
were-
Harbor was
We were
attacked?
in Sioux Falls.
Do you remember where you were at when you heard about it? Exactly what you're doing? Or
I think we had been over to Lois's for dinner, and then we stopped in at Grandma McCloskey's on the way home. And I think she told us that they had bombed Pearl Harbor. That was really traumatic.
okay. And then so you did teach during the war then?
No, I never did. I was going to, but after I got my certificate renewed and thought maybe I might look for a job, Wheeler said, I don't know how you're going to manage this with all these kids.
How many kids did you have that time?
I had the 4 of them.
Okay.
And trying to teach school, and he was away from home a lot, you know. He said, I don't know how you can manage this. The husbands didn't approve of women working as much in those days.
Okay, now there's a question for you. Okay, so you got back to Sioux Falls, and then Wheeler was born, Wheeler's Jr., and Al was born in Sioux Falls, is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Then, so you must have been in Sioux Falls for quite a number, for some period of time
a
there.
long time, yeah.
Okay. So then World War II started, and you thought about teaching, decided not to. All right, and do you remember where you were at? Okay. What year was it that, I don't remember, I know you said earlier, what year was it that Wheeler died? Your husband?
49.
49, okay. Where were you at when they done VE Day? During
We
your
were in Sioux Falls. We
Okay.
didn't participate.
Do you remember what you were doing?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
I didn't do anything out of the...
Pretty exciting time, big relief when that is
Well,
over?
not for me. I didn't go down and join the crowds
No,
downtown
but-
or anything like that.
But you, pretty big relief that it was all over
Well,
with?
yes,
and-
very much so.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, we've gotten past World War II here, okay, now, you still stayed at Sioux Falls, and then did your husband change any jobs or anything, or just stayed pretty much at the same company, just traveling around and doing the road
Well,
work?
just different companies, but just doing road work, yeah.
Okay. All right, now we're from the point where, okay, so your husband died in 1949,
9.
okay. How old were your kids at that time?
Oh, I
Remember?
don't remember.
Okay, that's all right.
Wheeler would know.
Okay, that's all right. Okay, what did he die of?
Well, he had a ruptured appendix, but he had emphysema before that, and they operated, and they said the operation went pretty good, but the lung problems, he couldn't take it.
Okay. Now, one of the things I know you told me one time was that after he died, you had to do something to protect your finances.
Oh, well, he signed a check so I could draw the money out of the bank. And I went up there. he died on Sunday, and I went up there on Monday morning and drew the money out. And I think legally I couldn't have done it, but I don't know if they didn't know he was dead yet, the bank at Humboldt, or if they just let it go. I never did know, but they let me have the money.
What would have happened if the money would have stayed in there?
Well, it would have gone to a court, and they would have portioned it out to me, so much a month for the kids' support.
So the court would
Things
have
like that, you
been,
know.
the court would have been handling your money instead of you handling your money.
Yeah, I think so. That's what they told me anyway.
And so you did that. Whose advice did you do that on? Did you just knew that happened?
He just did it before he...
He kind of felt something was going to be happening.
Oh, he knew he wasn't going to make it.
And so you wanted to make sure that you had that?
Yeah, so he wanted me to be sure that I had that.
Okay.
I wrote out the check and he signed it. I think I gave the check to one of the kids in the frame one time, but I don't know which one I gave it to.
Okay, so your husband passed away, and then what did you do? What did you?
I went down and stayed with my dad then for
In Iowa?
9 months.
Okay. All right.
They moved me down there with the idea that I would stay the rest of my life, but he couldn't get along with the kids. Wheeler can tell you about that.
Well, you tell me about it. I'll talk
Doubtedly told you about it.
Well, so Grandpa Sapi and the kids didn't get along too well?
They didn't get along too
Did
well.
all the kids not get along, or just kind of?
Well, he didn't pay much attention to the girls. The 2 boys were the ones he was more interested in.
I mean,
He was going to raise them correctly. But it didn't work out.
a little strict, or?
So we went back to Humboldt.
Okay. So 9 months you went to Humboldt. Okay, then what did you do? What kind of work did you do?
Well, that's when I taught for 3 years, and
Okay.
then I went
What
to...
school? Okay, hold on. What school did you teach at?
Well, it was a country school, and
Okay.
then 1 year in Montrose.
Okay, a country school, so it was like a one-room
Yeah.
schoolhouse. And how many kids did you have in your school?
Oh, I don't remember.
Was it 10 or more than 10 or less than
Oh,
10?
probably more than 10, I think.
20?
Maybe.
Okay.
I
And
can't
what
remember.
ages?
Well, all the 8 grades.
All 8 grades. Okay. That must have been a challenge.
Yes.
Did you like teaching? No, you
No.
after all these years you didn't.
No, I did not like it at all.
You didn't like teaching. Okay. What didn't you like about it?
Well, I didn't like the kids.
Okay.
No, it's so hard to keep order and everything.
Mhm.
I just didn't like it.
Okay, so you taught there for 3 years, and then where did you teach after that?
No, then I went to the telephone office.
Okay, but you said you taught for 3 years at one school, then you went to another school?
No, 3 years altogether.
Oh, 3 years altogether. So 2 years at where?
1 country school, 2 country schools, and 1 year in Montrose.
Okay. Okay, so then you went to work for the telephone company. What kind of work did you do at the telephone company?
Oh, just plugged them in.
Now, did everybody stay together then in the house, or did some go? Did
Well,
the boys go to a boarding
when we
school?
moved into Eggy's, into the upstairs at Eggy's.
Okay, that was later on then.
When I quit teaching. Well, I did that before I quit teaching because I couldn't get in and out of that farm place,
Okay.
you know, in the wintertime. So we moved into Eggy's even before.
And whose farm place was this? Was this yours?
Catherine's.
Catherine's?
Catherine and Alex. Belonged to Catherine, really.
Okay.
She was her mother.
Okay. So you moved into Montrose.
Mm-hmm.
You moved into Humboldt, or?
Back to Humboldt.
Okay, moved into Humboldt. Okay, and you're living above Mrs. Aggies, who's
Yeah.
a longtime friend of yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember her.
No, I remember Mrs. Aggie very well, yes.
We lived in her upstairs.
How did you meet Mrs. Aggie? Is that when you first met Mrs. Aggie then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I went to see if they would rent out some rooms, which she did.
Okay.
They had done that before, rented out rooms, so
Mm-hmm.
she let us have it. I was surprised she did with 4 kids, but
Okay.
and that's why I told her if they would let us have it, why then I would send the boys to the boarding school.
Okay, so the boys went to the boarding school. Which
Yeah.
boarding school was that?
St. Anne's there at Humboldt.
Okay. And so the girls that you were staying at Mrs. Rennie's room, Mrs. Aggie, and the boys went to the boarding school. Did you see the boys every day then, or?
No.
Or
Weekends.
weekends? Okay. Now, how long did you work at the telephone company?
Oh, I think about 15 years. I can't remember. Maybe not quite that long.
Did you like the telephone company?
It was okay. It didn't pay very good. It was tedious work, you know. Wasn't anything very exciting about it. But it wasn't a bad job.
Proud, I'm gonna have to take a
I wish
break.
it would have paid more.
Okay, stop it.
Stand by.
Let me see. Let me see. Oh, now it's recording. We're all right. That's okay. I can just edit this part out.
Okay.
Stand by. It takes a little time for it to get ready to go.
All right.
Is it recording now?
Yep.
Okay. But now a little bit about the depression. Now, how old were you when that run?
Well, I was going to say, I was in college when that was on,
Okay.
the Dust Bowl days and
Mm-hmm.
terrible droughts, you know, that swept through this part of the country, and the grasshoppers and whatnot, the army worms and things like that.
Did it affect you much at all, you said?
Well, I was going to say not too much in a way, but you just had to put up with the whole thing, with the
Mhm.
dust, you know. And
The Dust Bowl? What was
Things
that like? Did you ever see one?
oh, it was awful. Had dust all over, inside and outside.
Even inside Sioux Falls we
Inside
lived?
too. Not as bad as out in the country. Out in the country, well, we were out in road camp too. I was out there one spring, and it was just, well, it was just dust. You know, those old shacks didn't keep it out. You know, and the tables would be dusty, the dishes would be dusty. It was not a good time.
Hard to see?
Hmm?
It was so bad it could be hard to see at times, or?
Oh yes. Yeah, it looked like going through a forest fire.
Oh, wow.
Not too often, but it was really not good.
So more the Dust Bowl was the thing for where you lived at than the depression overall.
Well, it was a combination of both.
Okay. And so you started your married life during that period of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Did that affect your Wheeler, your husband, working at all?
Well,
or?
it didn't seem to. They still did road work, but it was awfully dirty road work.
So it really didn't probably affect his. It didn't affect his work at all.
No,
Then.
not too much. No. When they would come in off of the road, they would be just as black as the ace of spades. They looked like they were black people instead of white ones.
Okay, let's go jump up to now. We were talking a little bit about after your husband died and what the kids and stuff did. I guess one of the questions I have: what was the worst illness that you had as a child?
Well, I really didn't have any. I had my tonsils out one time.
But,
I didn't, outside of measles, you know, and chicken pox,
Mhm.
I didn't have really any serious illnesses.
okay.
Neither did Naoma.
And you really never, really, your other little sister didn't really ever live with you that much. Did you see her that often?
Who?
Your sister, France?
Oh, no. Well, we saw her a lot, but we didn't live with her at all.
Okay. After Wheeler died, then you went and taught school for 3 years, and then went to Humboldt, right?
Yeah, well, I was in Humboldt when
You,
I taught
yeah.
school.
Yeah, but then moved to Humboldt and lived in Brent's place, Miss Eggy. How long did the boys stay at Wheeler and Al stay at the?
Wheeler said he was there 2 years, and he said Al was only one. Ellen left to go to nurse's training, so then he came home
Mhm.
because there was more room in the apartment.
Okay.
So then he came home. So he was there longer than Al was. That's what he told me out in the kitchen when I asked him this morning.
How did your family do through that being a widow during that period of time? Was it really tough financially, or most people, or?
Oh, everybody was financially in trouble. A lot, not as bad as others, you know.
Mhm.
Like in Iowa, it wasn't as bad as South Dakota, but North Dakota was really bad. Aggies were in North Dakota at that time, and they had a ranch, and they had to sell all their cattle and leave. There was no way they could feed them. You couldn't get any price for them, so there was no
Mhm.
point in staying.
Did, now, how did the kids get along? Did they do lots of things together, all four of them, or not?
Oh,
or?
yes, they, well,
What the
two
girls
girls
usually
and
do?
the two boys did. I mean, the girls and the boys didn't.
What did Frankie and Lynn used to do?
Oh, they went everywhere together, and so did Wheeler and Al. I can't remember all.
What kind of car did you have during that period of time? Did you have a car during that time?
Several different kinds.
What kind? Do you remember any of them?
Oh, I don't know. Mercury for one, I suppose a Ford maybe. I can't remember.
How old were the kids when they learned to drive?
I can't remember that either.
Okay.
I don't know where